DETOUR! The completely necessary credentials now stolen by the Templars, our unmarried band of rebels reassess their plan and head deeper into Templar territory, if only to escape Blythe's scathing disappointment for his lack of protection.
So it's been a few days since the last recording. When we last left you guys was in the street outside of Blythe's tea shop, watching the swoops of the Templar gang disappear into the distance with your credentials that you need to get into SGI. We also, just so you guys know, you left off with 3 light side tokens in case you need those. You still have that bonus one from the Starbirds podcast. How very nice of them. And it's after sunset now. It's dark outside, per usual to Druckenwell weather and the mood of everything. There's a light drizzle of rain as the credentials disappear around the corner. So what are you guys up to? Where's Ace at?
Ace is kind of standing there in awe, scratching his head, watching these credentials just make it out of sight. And I think he is a little bit in awe of what's just happened, and his next emotion might be kind of frustration and anger. He's still got his flight suit armor, and I think his hood is down, standing in the dirt with his one metal leg and just kind of scratching in confusion. And he's starting to think about his next move. What's going to be best to solve this problem?
How did Zach react?
Zach is a little ways off, a few feet from where Ace is standing, kind of leaning against the wall in a little patch of shadows, looking at his feet, kind of shaking his head a little bit. He's trying to figure out what the next step is.
And Lizzie, how did she exit the tea shop?
Lizzie stood inside the tea shop for a moment, just gaping at the audacity. And then she runs out of the tea shop and is shooting at the, receding speeders as they go into the distance, screaming Druckenwellian naughty
curses.
Words. Yeah.
Naughty words, profanity,
words.
Lots of criffs.
She is very upset about how they have stolen what she considers to be her bodily property, and
I think no on Druckenwell
is pretty upset also because she felt like she had a little bit of rapport, like an understanding with Arma, and clearly she did not. So she's ready. She's very angry. She skipped straight to anger and frustration. That is not how I expected that to go. I say we go and take that stuff back.
At this point, I was trying to keep a low profile, but I don't think there's any other choice we have. Captain, we got to get that. We got to get those credentials back by any means necessary. Now, I'm not saying we go in and shoot up the place, but I think hanging in the shadows is no longer an option.
Well, the thing is, of course, we could go in there, start shooting. You know what? You two look pretty tough. I think we could handle it. I'm a pretty tough guy myself. But what are the alternatives?
So I'm no tactical genius here, but what if, just bouncing ideas off of you here, looks like this Ace, that's you. Looks like this Zach guy is, he doesn't look like the fighting type.
You could say that.
But you do look like the really, really stealthy type.
You could also say
I mean, I'm pretty stealthy, and you look like very stealthy. I consider myself to be kind of, ninja-esque, and I think that you could probably put me to shame in that regard.
I think so. I think take the esque off and you've got it.
Okay, so here is my thought. Ace, you and I both look like we've got, some combat experience. Why don't we roll up, talk a big game, create a distraction, say we're there to parlay or whatever. They seem willing to talk to us, right?
Sure.
From what I know about the Templar swoop gang, I mean, that's kind of how they roll. I doubt they would if we just left things alone right now, I don't think they'd come after me. They're pretty even-handed when it comes to things like that. So, we could go, act like we're going to talk in good faith, and then Zach, could come around behind, maybe take what we need, maybe rearm us, because they're definitely going to take our guns. There's going to be a frisk, and they're going to take our stuff. So we will be unarmed, that's the thing. But you look like you can, keep a conversation going, and I've been known to do that myself, so maybe we can talk our way through this while our ninja friend does ninja things.
I like that. Here's the thing. I think that we're not going to have... I can get in, and I can find it, but the question is whether or not we're going to have enough time to guarantee that I can find it. So if you guys are able to give me your guns, your blasters, whichever one you're going to want in a firefight, I can sneak in. You can keep the comms live so I can hear the conversation you're having. I could see if they let you talk for long enough for me to find the plans, or whether or not we need to come in and rearm you and take it. Because at this point, again, I really wanted this to be low profile. We're supposed to get in and get out, but at this point, time's running out on our mission, and we really got to make some decisions. Whether that means we steal it and we get out, or we take it by force. At this point, I'm pretty sure we got to make the choice for ourselves.
Zach, I like the way you think, and Lizzie, I think this is a great plan. We're doing this. I think handing our blasters over to Zach is a smart idea if we get in a pinch while we're in there.
Okay, we have got to have weapons on us though, because they are absolutely not gonna believe us coming in with nothing. Like,
Completely agree.
nobody in Central Isthmus is unarmed. That's just, we can't just give him our guns and expect that to be believable, because then we'll like tip them off to Zach's presence, you know?
Absolutely.
Well, what? I mean, I can come in with my knife, of course, but we could also offer it as a gesture of goodwill and understanding that we're coming in with no weapons to parlay.
This seems to be the kind of place where suspicion is first before trust. I'm not sure that they're going to buy that one.
Absolutely correct, Zach. We are gonna have to give them our real guns, or perhaps we could get guns maybe from Brack at Dicey. He might be able to loan us something. You know, it wouldn't be anything special. I mean, I don't carry anything special, but if you do, I can see your hesitation to like hand that over. But we can't show up empty-handed with a knife. Like, there's no way.
Well, you know, I'm pretty good at grabbing a blaster out of someone's holster if I need to. But I'll let you know the lay of the land. I'll let you decide what you think is best for this mission.
That's an excellent streetwise roll to find a vendor if you want garbage guns, the decoys.
You have
What am I rolling?
good streetwise.
I do. What am I rolling against?
So you're gonna roll a average check, and you can have a boost die for knowing Central Isthmus.
So average is 2 purple.
Yeah.
And a boost die for knowing Central. Guys, I got 2 successes and 4 advantage. Not only do I know a guy, but he owes me a favor.
And he's just down the corner.
And he's right here.
I hear him right now. Someone's calling, Lizzie. Hot guns. Get your guns.
Right?
Get them while they're hot.
I think down at the end of the street, as you look down this kind of narrow alleyway, there's one of the Bob's Noodle stands that you've visited before, Lizzie.
Bob's Noodles. I love that place.
And what you happen to know about them, being a resident, is that they don't sell just noodles. So you can go up and order, pretty average weaponry at any point, because people dump guns and retrieve them there all the time. So you guys can have we'll say holdout blasters.
Cool. That'll work.
All right.
So let's
Give your strong guns to Zach.
Lizzie hands over her blaster, which may not be much better than a holdout blaster now that I'm thinking about it. What do I even have here?
I know. I was about to ask, what are the stats on a holdout blaster? Because it might be better than mine, and I do a little swaps.
Right.
Holdout blaster is the smallest blaster. It does the least damage.
Oh, okay.
So
I
think both
I
of
have
you guys
one better.
carry just blaster pistols. I
Blaster.
think only Ace is the one who had, you have a decent gun, don't you?
Yeah.
Ace? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he hands his DR-45 Dragoon over to Zach and says, be gentle with it. We've grown attached, all right? I got it. I get it. Thank you.
Lizzie lets out a low whistle as she sees you unload that little piece of property. So I can see why you were hesitant to let the riffraff confiscate that one. Wow.
It's got some stories, that's for sure.
But all right. Well, she hands Zach her plain old blaster pistol. Here you go.
Very nice.
My
You're barely better than a holdout blaster.
right, my fancy schmancy. We don't get cool stuff like that here on.
I pulled mine out, and it's the same gun. It's like, look, we're twins.
Oh yeah, hey, you know what it's like. All right, but you're a non-combat character. Okay.
That's right.
All right, so you guys are all prepped because you guys are heading out to what's known as the waterfront, which is the area on the western end of Central Isthmus that is not like beachfront property. It's where you're
Swamp front property.
Yeah, it's swamp front. It's the swamp, basically, where civilized architecture dissolves into impassable swampland. No construction has been able to stand out there, despite Druckenwell's best attempts to industrialize the whole planet. So it's not just like open nature out that way. There's lots of half collapsed buildings, and it's very kind of overgrown as nature tries to reclaim it. Where you've arrived to is known as a warehouse called the Shed. It's a large warehouse, but in complete disrepair, as you would expect a swoop gang to keep it. There's panels missing, rust kind of all over, but it's airplane hangar sized. It's no small warehouse. It's pretty gigantic. The southern end of the building, from where you guys have arrived, has an entrance that's open. You can hear a lot of noise. They spend a lot of time. You can hear a lot of music and noise, I guess is what I should say. And there's even lights. They have a pretty good time. And you can see that there's some kind of event going on inside. There's 3 or 4 people in a line waiting to get in, getting patted down by a couple of thugs wearing the same brown robes. The two thugs are like bouncers at the door. They're letting everybody in, but they're giving them a pat down first. How do you guys approach?
Are we still all 3 together?
Yeah, we definitely want them to see us with Frank or with Zach. So I would say that.
I didn't describe that, but you guys are essentially you're kind of the quintessential you 3 are right around the corner from the warehouse, so you get this view of this eastern end that has that entrance that I just described. So you haven't been seen yet. You guys can decide how you want to approach.
Can I or we do a perception check to see if there's any kind of vents, windows, cracks of the like and sort around that I could sneak in and or around?
Yes, I assume you would want to case the place if you don't want to go in the main entrance.
Yes, case the place. Is it a perception?
I think it's stealth. If you want to approach and look for it.
Yeah, you're probably right.
You still first want to be not seen by any of the lookouts.
Okay.
So
what's the difficulty?
It's just an average with a setback die.
Does Lizzie have opportunity to maybe call upon some of her local contacts to see if they could help in this situation? Like, would Nat or Jake know anything about this place? Or are they mainly just in case we get into serious trouble and need a place to hide?
You can call Nat and Jake, but they don't pick up.
Okay.
So my stealth roll is 2 success, a threat, and a triumph.
Oh, okay.
So do I get to decide what it is?
You can pitch me your triumph, yeah.
I'm not sold on this. It's just an idea. I didn't know if you wanted to do it or me. But maybe Zach sees off to the left a part of the entrance, like that's, I assume this is sort of it's like metal. Like, what's the building made of, did you say?
It's metal. Yeah, it's the Durasteel. There's like panels missing and things like that. But.
Yeah, panels missing. And so there's this actual, like, they were doing repairs and they got lazy and like left a ladder over to the side. And literally there's just like a very small hole that hasn't been patched yet with a ladder just off to the side that they haven't repaired this yet with.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine that you have a ladder and a way in and haven't been seen. You had the success. The threat, you find that on the southern end.
And we're approaching from...
You're approaching from the east, so you're seeing the eastern face of it.
Okay.
The bouncer line is the southern end of the eastern face, and then basically around that corner on the south, about the middle, is where you've found a hole to peek in. So,
okay.
What about Ace?
I think Ace is planning to walk right in the front door with Lizzie. I think that he's kind of... I think he wants to ask Lizzie, so we're going to walk in there. They're going to take our blasters, these holdout blasters.
The best gun you've ever owned. Your baby. Put up a fight.
Yeah, this is my baby. Don't take this from me. Please.
Yeah.
Convincing?
I know it hurts you, but yes.
So, what's step 2?
Well, it looks like they're throwing a party, so maybe we're just going to go to that. And then, I don't know, follow my lead. I'm going to try to read the room, but eventually we are going to want to go parlay a little bit with Arma about what happened back at Blythe's tea. So I'm sure they'll find us, but I mean, let's not go in straight demanding to see the manager. Let's just they seem to be having an event already. So like we could just kind of blend in for a little bit. That would buy our friend a little bit more time.
Sounds good. Well,
we got to come up with a reason why Zach isn't here.
I don't think you have to.
Okay, maybe we don't. But if we do, and I come up with something, just go with it.
He's so stealthy. He's so stealthy, he's easily forgettable sometimes.
Maybe so. Or maybe he just, had other things to do or chickened out, whatever,
Fair enough.
The comms click and Zach comes across. All right, guys. I found a way in. It's way easier than any of us would have ever thought. Just remember, keep your comms on so I can listen for when I need to kind of break into the party, if you know what I mean.
Got it. Stay safe.
Roger.
We keep our comms on and let's go do this thing.
All right, here we go.
All right. As you step up, it's just a very short line. Everybody's able to make it in. You get the bouncer puts out his hand as you approach. He's like, "No blasters inside."
All right. And Lizzie sighs and hands her blaster over.
Here you go. Take good care of it. It's got my name on it, so I'll be back for it.
Oh, your name's Bob, huh?
That's right.
Last name Noodles?
It's Bob Noidles. All right,
Okay.
forget about it.
He's from Offworld.
All right. Anyway, inside, holding up the line. As you come in through the entrance, you can hear there's some crowds cheering and spectators chanting and things along those lines. You get the distinct sound as you look in front of you. There's these rows of cargo containers and dumpsters that have been arranged into a makeshift arena, and while you can't quite see over it, you hear the sounds of boxing and betting going on. Yeah, so it's fight night. It's one of the many boxing matches that the Templars end up throwing. So there's a crowd that's all gathered around making bets on the outcomes, and you can tell that that's directly in front of you. There's a bit of a blaster check where you can pick up your blasters on your left, and the warehouse gets kind of dark off to your right. So Zach, you're right outside. You can see this too from your vantage point. There's a little bit of a catwalk, and off to your left is the arena. You can see the boxing going on, and Lizzie and Ace on your right having just come in through the door.
So Lizzie's gonna kind of narrate for Zach's benefit to Ace in a nonchalant way, like, "All right, fight night. So looks like maybe we should just go over here to the left and see if we can't find a good vantage point."
All right, that's why I'm here. I want to see the fighting. Let's get a good seat, or a good spot to stand.
Sounds great.
So why don't you guys roll perception checks inside and see how well you guys know this place? Hard perception checks.
Okay, so all those dice, and I got one success and nothing else.
Okay.
I got 3 successes and a threat. I'm just threats tonight.
2 successes and 1 threat.
Okay.
I think Ace is trying to see if he can recognize Irma in this place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm sure probably what both of us are doing, Lizzie and I.
Or anybody that was with her gang earlier.
Mhm.
How long has it been? Like hours?
Long enough, yeah. It hasn't been like hours. I think that you guys definitely followed a little bit slower. So they, for successes on that check, you guys see her. There's a kind of makeshift like throne and pedestal for the throne where she can see she's up on top of. She's off to your right in the back to it. So she's got a good view of the whole hangar from sitting on top of these cargo containers, and she's currently swiveled and is watching the fights from kind of her lounge chair that's up there. I get a sense that like all the activity inside very much feels, going with the ninja theme, feels like the Foot Clan hideout from the Ninja Turtles movie. So you get that kind of industrial, people are doing their skateboards and passing out cigarettes or what have you.
There's probably like some gambling machines like lighting up the corners of this place.
Yeah, definitely. So for the threats, Zach, your catwalk doesn't extend the length of the hangar. It kind of comes down just short of the throne. So the throne is kind of in the middle on the far wall from you guys, and the rest of the shed is kind of off in darkness. Your threats are essentially you don't see a lot of extra stuff, and you're kind of funneled in towards the fight. You guys are gonna have to make a plan for whether you try and talk to Arma or not, or where you're at, or if you're gonna watch some boxing.
Does Zach see within that perception check successes anything resembling offices, quarters, like where they would, or is it just one big room?
So it's got some walls to it, basically, and that's kind of all that you make out, since you had that threat too, is that there's a few rooms and things that they've built inside the hangar, but the purposes and kind of building layout eludes you. You can make it about a third of the way in on the catwalk in your unseen location, but you're going to have to make your way down to go further north from where you are.
Okay.
So Lizzie probably would have, before we even came into this, like strongly encouraged Zach to loot the place of anything. Like, I know you're after the thing that we're here for, but if you happen to find anything else of value that is not going to encumber you over much, take it, because these people are jerks.
Well, yeah, I haven't taken into account encumber, but he doesn't mind.
Okay, yeah. So like, don't.
He appreciates Lizzie's contribution. It's like, yeah, it's payment.
Yeah, well, it's payment for, and if you wanted to, donate it to the cause on the planet.
Yeah.
This stuff's been taken from the people of Druckenwell, and so.
Yeah, he doesn't like it. So Zach kind of makes his way down the catwalk as far as he can, and he's continually scanning the crowd, specifically at where these built-ins are, and he's just trying to see, while he's making his way closer to the center of the hangar, he's trying to see if anybody is coming in or out of these built-ins, and seeing if he can deduce, kind of see in the door, or they go in with stuff and come out with like a bag and don't come out with it. He's trying to just kind of see if there's any clues as to what these different rooms are around.
So since you've already rolled the perception from where you're at, I think you're at a stealth check next.
Okay.
For moving around to explore deeper into the shed.
Okay.
So, and that one's going to be a hard check. The 3 purple.
Okay. I got 1 success and 3 advantage.
So you're able to essentially make it down off the catwalk without anybody noticing you. The staircase is kind of off in the shadows, just south of the throne room. But the cargo containers that have constructed this makeshift throne have just enough space to pass through and are in the shadow. And so you're able to kind of head further north. And while kind of underneath the throne there, you can see in the north corner some of the walls that have been built. There's kind of a reinforced glass door with a guard standing at it. There's a couple of thugs head in, holding a small cargo container or duffel or whatever it is. It's one of those like cube-shaped storage containers. They move inside with it. Door shuts and locks behind them. So you've got eyes on a pretty good idea of where their loot might be kept.
Seeing the lay of the land, Lizzie turns to Ace and says, hey, maybe before having our conversation, we should just enjoy the atmosphere. Give ourselves time to acclimate and adjust and get the lay of the land here in this new place. What do you think?
That sounds all right to me. I was just thinking it over. Irma's up there, Blythe's down there. I mean, of course we could talk to Irma, we could threaten her, try and figure out where these credentials we need are. But the thing is, I mean, it's not like she's got them in her pocket or something. They got to be around here. I know Zach's looking for them too, but
hey,
keep walking, we keep looking.
Yeah, that's great. You're not really a innuendo guy, are you? All right, cool, good to know. Yeah.
What do you mean? I'm not an innuendo guy. Anyway.
Enjoy the fight. She claps him hard on the back. You're right. Let's enjoy the fight. Drinks. Let's find some drinks.
That sounds good.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us in the Dicey Cantina. Enjoying the show? Consider giving us a 5-star review on your favorite podcatcher and reach out on Twitter at Dicey Cantina, shoot an email to diceycantina@gmail.com, or record us a message over on our page at anchor.fm. We'd love to hear from you. Your support truly helps the show grow. And for a preview of another exciting podcast, stay tuned after the credits. We want to say thanks to Doug for joining us in this series. You could view Doug's art at voidboy.art and find Doug as many an intriguing character on the Coruscant Nights podcast. Be sure to check out his latest endeavor on The Other Place podcast. The Other Place is a Genesis actual play podcast set in a wonderfully homebrewed world facing an undead apocalypse from the creators of Coruscant Nights. You might even want to go back a couple episodes and hear me read their epic creation myth. Also, did you know that Donate for Destiny is already nearing a third of its $500 goal? Influence our Destiny pool and that of other great podcasts like Coruscant Nights, Starbirds, Flight Risk, and New Republic Radio with your donation to the Child's Play charity. Child's Play provides toys and video game consoles to kids in hospitals and domestic violence shelters to help make their stay more comfortable. For every $4 you donate, you can add a light side token to our game pool, or for $10, you can make the Destiny pool all light or dark on any of the participating podcasts. Visit diceycantina.com/destiny for this fun way that you can make a difference. Listen up for the following special preview, but in the meantime, that's all for now. So pull up a stool and we'll see you here next week in the Dicey Cantina.
A long, long, long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, Flight Risk is a Star Wars actual play crime dramedy podcast using the FFG Star Wars rule set and also set during the Old Republic era. Join Flight Risk and an eccentric group of mercenaries as they are thrust into the dark and violent world of organized crime. As agents of an enigmatic count, they traverse the Outer Rim in an attempt to not only survive, but to realize their destiny without losing their souls. Flight Risk is hosted by Dwayne Feenstra, with players Joe, Velvet, Nimoy, Kyle, and a whole bunch of additional guests from the podcast community each and every week. So don't miss out on all the fun. Look us up on Spotify, iTunes, or your favorite podcatcher and enjoy the ride.